Welcome back to Self-Defense Weekly. I'm Instructor Thompson. This is the conclusion to the trail series. One of the major recommendations is get a dog. Dogs can be very, very helpful for this. And where we last left off, we had some problems going on. At the time that we started this, it was a big thing where women were being followed on trails and oftentimes follows in stores. But the trail part creates a specific problem.
This afternoon from a female hiker who is sharing a scary experience
on a hiking trail today.
Metro Parks police are investigating a violent attack
targeting women near the C&O Canal towpath.
So many people are walking on trails, one of which is communication. In the wilderness, a lot of times, even just at lakes, cell phone receptions in and out. So we talked about things like the Soul Defender, why Instructor Marcotte's company is so important and all the excellent things that they do there. Of course, we talked about equalizers, and if you're not comfortable with it, I understand. Not everybody is. I can't encourage you enough to look into education with this, but there are some other things as well if you're somebody who is not into firearms. With multiple types of equalizers, this one also has one of those myths around it where a lot of times people think, well, if a woman carries a knife, that kind of thing could be taken away and used against her. I'd like to set that to rest just because, well, number one, it's always a possibility with any weapon, but it's actually least likely with this one. If you haven't ever done the Sharpie drill or the foam brush lipstick drill, you may not know, but you're not taking a knife out of someone's hands. That's not happening. Even if you get into a grappling position, even if you're doing, well, there's several things you could do, but the idea that you're taking a knife away from somebody is kind of silly. It's not that you couldn't take it away, it's just that you're not doing so without being cut or stabbed repeatedly. One of the reasons why this is an excellent equalizer, because it's really hard to take a knife away from somebody, especially somebody who is mad or scared in that fight, flight, freeze section of their amygdala. And it doesn't really take a lot of training to be able to use it in that capacity to stop a threat. It's also a pretty good deselection tool because, well, bad guys are looking for compliance and people who they don't think are going to put up a fight. So being very, very loud and, well, a couple of these pretty much anywhere on the body is going to give them an idea that this is going to take too long and it's going to hurt too much to continue. Of course, that's not always guaranteed, but it's a pretty good deselection tool, and getting cut a few times is, well, a lot of times people will just back off. Not always, but often. There's one more part about this, though, in staging our environment, and this is a part I wanted to conclude with. Of course, you can go with friends on exercises in the morning, or even wherever you go. You can go with your animal, you can go with equalizers, but one of the things that really helps is adding layers of protection. Doing all of those is going to make it safer right off the bat. On top of that, I'm a really big fan of staging our environment. So when we stage our environment, we can't really be putting anything that's not natural to the environment in the environment. But one of the things that we have to be aware of is that when predators are watching, they're watching. So we're looking at routines. So changing up the routine can be good, but also making sure that your family and loved ones there know where to find you and what your routine looks like. But it doesn't mean that we can't take things from the environment already and stage them along our route. I know a lot of women that do this where they will go the same routes around the lakes, they'll go the same routes around different trails, and that's fine. It can be good to change it up, but on top of that, one of the most excellent things about Filipino martial arts is you can find sticks anywhere, and they're natural to this environment anyway. So if you know you're going to be going around the same route, every 15, 20 feet off to the side, you can start stashing little caches of some of the oldest weapons in the world. I know you might be thinking that's kind of silly, but it's the thing about what works. Often it's simple. Simple survives. And with this type of thing already being in the environment, every 15, 20 feet around the whole lake or across the trails that you walk on, having different areas where you know that you put different things in the environment, especially if you're not carrying equalizers, can be very, very helpful. And with this type of thing, if it gets moved around, it gets moved around. You can replace it. They're everywhere. I recommend sticks that are big enough, not really super bendable, can have a little bit of bend to it, but are big enough that you can wield comfortably, and you might even take off the side of the trail, start practicing your different martial arts all of the different things that you know how to do. Plus, it can be really fun to have that around with your dog as well. With the rocks, they should be able to fit in your palm. And jagged edges can be good, but this is one of those things where you really underestimate the size and weight of a good palm-sized rock. Literally the oldest weapons in the world. More than that though, one of the things I really like about this is that it gets you thinking about how to incorporate your environment. What is around you, what can be used as a tool. Because we're not going to go around every 15, 20 feet and put actual caches of real weapons in that capacity, but this is real enough that somebody comes in close, it can be chucked, and it can also just be held on with that same type of motion. And it looks pretty natural in the environment. To wrap up all these layers of protection, remember, if you're going to go out open carry, it can be an advantage, but it can also be a really big disadvantage. It can be a crime deterrent, but also everybody around knows when they see it. It's one of the reasons why a lot of us like concealed, because you'll know when I want you to know if I want you to know. Till then, it's my choice on whether I have to show that. And just so you know, it's not brandishing if the situation calls for it. You feeling threatened, you can absolutely show I have a way to protect myself, get back. In fact, I would say that very thing. I have a way to protect myself, get back. Largely anybody calling the police at that point would be very helpful considering the circumstances. So we've got going with friends, we've got going with family members and dogs, equalizers of different sorts, staging the environment with different types of tools and places that you know where they are. Wherever you choose to walk or exercise, remember to stay safe and use the technology you can. Your phone can be a great asset. Use the tools you're comfortable with and go train with those tools. And remember, oftentimes, a lot of the bad guys like to underestimate, especially women. And I love that for you, because every time that happens, they overestimate themselves. And that's really bad for them. Those same people are the very reasons that you should, and you absolutely can defend yourself very successfully, I might add, with layers of protection. I'm Instructor Thompson, my Self-Defense Studio, Dragonfly Academy. Salute.